Hi everyone, this is the E-mini S&P 500 futures. I'm using a 2000 tick chart and a 21 EMA. I've got my overnight high level here and my overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. And so starting off, notice we have these two legs down right here. Now, we get this bounce right here right before it reaches that measured move, and it's clearly holding on that overnight low level very well. We push above the EMA. It's a bit choppy there, and very quickly we push down and reach that measured move. So these measured moves, they act as magnets. Even though we had that resistance right there, the measured move was so strong that it had to pull price down and reach it, and then it bounced right off of it. And that's very common. This trend right here, you basically have this downtrend. It has a break, and it's pushing down to a new low, and that very commonly forms perfect two-legged moves. And considering we're breaking out of the overnight low here, and when you break out of an overnight level or a range level, you can expect price to attempt to fade. And so when we push in here, it's very clear that we're having a successful fade, especially with just how strong that bullish reaction is. Combined with this little range fade right here and this measured move being met, this looks like a great area to go long. And when it pushes up here, it looks good right there to go long, but it just doesn't trigger on that bar here, so you have to wait until this bar here forms. Which of course that's no problem, and it pushes on up here. It starts to get very sideways right here before continuing higher, but unfortunately there's really no way to get on any trades in here. From here you have this first entry long. It's just the first entry, so of course you don't want to enter on that. It keeps going sideways here, and then here we have this new high, first entry long, again first entry, you don't want to enter on that. But then it makes a double top there, but with the bodies you can see that there's a two-legged move down. And so you do still get that two-legged move there before it launches off. So, unfortunately no way to get long there, but it just goes to show price action. It holds the same small picture, big picture when it's chopping and when it's trending. So, just wanted to go over that. So anyway, after that two-legged move, it takes off there. Unfortunately, no way to get in on it. It pushes through the overnight high. And now, when you break, just like I was talking about down here, when you break out of the overnight high, you can expect price to attempt to fade. So in order to get in on the breakout, you want to wait for two clear attempts to fade. The market moves in pairs of twos. That's how second entries form. You got this perfect two-legged move here before that reversal. So what you want to see is two clear attempts to fade back in. That way you can enter on the fade failure, because if it has two attempts to fade back into the overnight and it's unsuccessful after that second attempt, you can look to get long. So that's how you look to buy the breakout. You can't just buy it because it closes out. You got to wait on two clear attempts to fade back in. So anyway, we push on up here. We get this very small push down here, quickly pushes on up, makes a new high, and we get one clear leg down, pushing below the EMA. So unfortunately, you only have one attempt here, and by the time it's closing back above the EMA, you're getting this terrible bar here, and by the time it's a good bar, it doesn't matter. It's just a first entry. Very easily, it could just tick higher and then make a second leg down. Ideally, you'd get something like that. But either way, it just continues on up here. We get another attempt down here. Very quickly pushes back up. It starts to get choppy here. Started looking for a range, but it really never held very well, but it was clearly going sideways here. And unfortunately, nothing on the way up here. It just stays really choppy. We push up to these highs. If we had pushed lower here, we could have gotten like a failed second entry and looked to get out before these lows here. But it just doesn't form. It just stays choppy, pushes out the highs, and goes into another chop again. It just keeps going sideways here. So anyway, it does fade back in here. We push back in, and then it breaks out of this channel right here. It only held twice off those lows, but it was clearly fitting off those highs as well. And we got a break. Now, when an uptrend gets a break, you can expect price to attempt a new high. And we start to make that new high here. We push up, and this is a good area to look for a failed second entry. If it pushes up and makes a clear failed second entry, a clear push above, and two legs back holding on the EMA, you can look for a long, but it just doesn't do that. It just pushes up and then has another sharp leg down, reaches that measured move, and then reverses on it. Now, at this point right here, you have a big picture two-legged break. So you have a big picture failed second entry. Sometimes it can be easier to see if you zoom out a little bit that you have a big picture failed second entry. First entry short, second entry short, failure. Now, it's not off of any support here. Unfortunately, I didn't get any longs here. What I was really wanting for was a push above and then 2 clear legs back, making a smaller failed second entry to get in on that long. But ideally, it would have just pushed down more and reached this overnight high, because if we got a retest, 2-legged retest of the overnight high while expecting a new high, then yeah, we would be much more likely to get a long if it had pushed down. So I wish it pushed down so we could see what could have happened, but it just pushed on up. And also, considering it's not off of anything, it is at that measured move, but you don't want to push it into the EMA while it's also not off of anything. It does eventually close above, but you can't just keep extending your signal bar forever. You know what I mean? So anyway, we push on up here. We don't get that clean failed second entry I was wanting. It just pushes up, and then it really fizzled out for the rest of the day. It got very, very slow. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out in some way, and thanks for watching. See y'all next time.